Robert Stewart, and I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Thailand from October of 1973 to January of 1976. And my main function was engineering work. We were to mainly design small dams for irrigation purposes in the villages. And my venue of working as a Peace Corps volunteer was northern Thailand. I was living in the town of Lampang. And I suppose one of the biggest memories that I've had, aside from having the opportunity to learn a foreign language and to use it, was that coincidentally I was there during the time that Vietnam was falling, and I happened to have been in Vientiane, Laos. And the last day that I was in Vientiane, I saw the Pathet Lao demonstrating. So I found that quite interesting. The only other thing that I was very fortunate to do as a Peace Corps volunteer as an extracurricular activity was I taught for AUA, which stands for American University Alumni. It's a Thai-American cross-cultural organization. I taught English, conversational English, in the evening times. It did not conflict with my Peace Corps duties, and it was a wonderful experience to be able to do that as an extracurricular activity. So I would encourage anybody that had any interest in the Peace Corps to certainly consider it. You don't know what you're going to get out of it, but that's certainly the blessing of being in the Peace Corps. Is you don't know what you're going to get out of it, but once you get something out of it, it'll stay with you forever. Thank you much.
Chaz McCormick served in Thailand, Group 51, 1975 to 1979. Taught in Bua Secondary School, Bua District non-province, which was run by a headmaster. I was the first volunteer there. My headmaster always wanted a volunteer, and he had built this school up in the middle of nowhere into the best school in the province. His name was Pongpat Tiranbatuangun. And he later became a member of parliament, and he passed away a couple of years ago. But American educators could have learned a lot from Ajahn Pongpat. And after that, I did a year in Ubon Ratchathani with Siksani Tet, just like teaching training, and then spent a year working with refugees. I left in 1980, and I can honestly say it was very difficult for me to leave.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I'm Lawrence Nolick. I'm speaking from Madison, Wisconsin. I served in the Peace Corps as an agriculture teacher at teachers' colleges from 1977 to 79 in Thailand. One of my favorite stories is from my first month of training. After work, after training, after spending the day in the classroom one day, another volunteer and I, Peter Ford, decided to take a swim, and we were in a river town called Chainat. So we swam across the river and back. And there wasn't much of a current. It didn't seem like a strenuous swim to either of us. It might have been a quarter mile across, slightly more perhaps. Anyway, we're good swimmers. And a crowd gathered to watch us, and by the time we turned around and got back to where we started, a crowd had gathered and they applauded us as we walked back on shore. That's one of my favorite stories.
Hello, my name's Jonathan Green. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Thailand from 1973 to 75. I was stationed in the town of Kanchanaburi on the western border with Burma in the valley of the River Kwai. I was working in malaria control. Working in malaria control, I had to go out into remote villages a lot, and that meant riding in boats up the River Kwai. And it happened one time, the boat was coming close to the riverbank, and I happened to see a snake on the bank right by the river where my part of the boat was going to come to rest. I didn't want to seem like a coward, but on the other hand, I didn't want to bet my life that that snake was not venomous. So just as the boat was coming to the shore, I pointed at it and said the word in Thai for snake. The other guys in the boat saw it and immediately says, "We can eat him." jumped out of the boat and started chasing after that snake up the riverbank to try and cook him for dinner. Next time I happened to be in Bangkok, I described the snake to the Peace Corps doctor, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's not a venomous kind. He's a very inoffensive kind of snake."
Okay.